Guru, word after word, will you kindly join? So we started, Puja Mataji started using it as a initiation mantra. So previously nothing was explained and we will just play and they will repeat 3 times, that's all. We have been observing that many people also come and say that they have taken directly from Papa, directly from... It has to be irrespective of results. It has to be irrespective of results. Ramnam or some equivalent is necessary, not for the sake of repetition, but for the sake of purification, as an aid to effort, for direct guidance from above. It is therefore never a substitute for effort. It is meant for intensifying and guiding it in proper channel. So that means just because I took the mantra initiation from a great saint, I may not be able to eke out the maximum benefit out of it if it is not followed by intense effort. That's what we have all seen, no? In 2 years' time, what Papa could scale the heights. Even after decades, we are unable to. So then we find that along with Ramnam, he also mentioned side by side with the incessant repetition of Ramnam, side by side with concentrated meditation on the various attributes. This was what Papa did, which fact none of us recognized. Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine name, divine mantram, side by side with the concentrated meditation on the all-pervading, eternal, ever-blissful, indwelling God, had attained freedom and peace even before his advent into the world as a mendicant. That means on 27th December 1922, he set up as a mendicant's life. And he started in 1920. Ramdas, through a ceaseless repetition of the divine mantram, side by side with the concentrated meditation on the all-pervading, eternal, ever-blissful, indwelling God. So this is what effort, you know. So Gandhiji also was a practical saint. So he had experimented and he knew that mere initiation will not suffice. Initiation has got its own impact, role in one's life, in sadhaka's life. But at the same time, merely getting initiated by a saint will not help much. It will help to some extent. But if it is not supported by, complemented by, coupled with the real purpose, the effort to realize the real purpose behind the initiation. For example, in our case, Papa defines who Ram is, subtle and mysterious power. He is beginningless and endless. He is in all. He is all in all. So it is something like that we try to understand during our non-chanting time. Suppose we keep on contemplating upon it, we might be able to, first we get the initiation, then our mind starts telling whose name I am chanting. Putting it two and two, we also remember when Puja Swamiji as Ananda Shivan, when he came and when he met Papa and when Papa and he placed before him his then state of affairs, that he is unable to go along with the common run of life. At the same time, he was not aware what the alternative is. And Puja Swamiji also told us, he added one more word, that don't push me to the, please push me to the Paramarthik, not to the end. So Papa heard these words and smiled, and then he was sitting on the cement bench. For the sake of newcomers, we are repeating it. He was, as you step, there's a cement bench. Papa was sitting there. Anandashram and Puja Swamiji came here for the first time. So he was sitting. He also sat, introduced himself, then poured out his state of mind. Papa heard everything, looked at him, smiled at him, and said, "Take Ramna." So he gave him 3 times, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Swamiji said he was waiting for an answer for his question. Only Nama. He waited for some time. Can I stay here? Not now. Ramdas will call you later. Again there was no reply. So Papa, when I go back, when I write, when I want to clear some doubts, will you reply? Ramdas will not reply. Swamiji said, I was taken aback. He was so loving, but he calmly said, Ramdas will not reply. Then immediately he patted on his back and told him, if you get doubts, you should know that you have not chanted Ramnam properly. We have to put 2 and 2 together, Gandhiji's words. That means merely chanting will not help you. So Swamiji was telling us, not that we don't have doubt, but we cannot. Papa wanted us to go inward and find out the answer. That is how he found out the answer. So whenever each and a doubt comes, that means God is in his own way kindling. And the dimensions that come out, it becomes original, not somebody's. That is a beautiful method Papa employed. Suppose he says something, it has come from another. But if it comes from unsown, free from doubt. So then now the same thing when you put together of this particular quotation, effort, not merely chanting. When we chant, not normally when you go to a place, you see people chanting, and then naturally the tendency will be there. Can I also take an initiation? Yeah. Nowadays we have prepared a pamphlet. We give them first, ask them to go through it thoroughly. After one day, ask them to come. Then we again touch certain points. Then we say, now this is feel that you are sitting before Papa physically, and then what he has spoken and what is recorded may not be very clear, so that has also been transcribed. This is what is there in their own language, it will be given. And in that, at the end of it, Papa will lovingly say, Ramdas will chant the mantra given to him. This is no word of initiation. Ramdas will chant the mantra given to him, word after word, by his Guru. Will you kindly join? And then he will say, Om. So we request him to say Om 3 times. And then we say, in order to make know, Papa, that we got it right, please chant 3 times. This is how the initiation process is going on here. So now, this particular quotation of Gandhiji, in my humble opinion, effort is necessary for one's own growth. It has to be irrespective of results. Ram Nam or some equivalent is necessary. Not for the sake of repetition, but for the sake of purification, as an aid to effort. First he says effort is necessary for one's own growth. It is therefore never a substitute for effort. Simply to do that and then keep quiet, no, I may not progress. It is meant for intensifying and guiding it in proper channel. So when I keep on chanting, initially Papa will say concentration, no concentration, chant. When it becomes a habit, we have to ask, what am I doing? Whose name I am chanting? These questions should come and then we get an answer. So this is what we feel Gandhiji meant. Right from the practical standpoint, yes, it is now very clear. So unless an effort is made along with the repetition, because bluntly Papa used to say, parrot-like lip-level chant, it will not help us. You remember in one of his writings, in the Vision of God or somewhere, when he went to Rishikesh, he saw a Swami, a sadhu. The sadhu asked him, you are in a blissful state. Since how long you have been chanting? 2 years. He said, I have been chanting for 30 years. There Papa mentions, you know the clue? A wonderful clue. Initially we may feel we are chanting, So long as this feeling is there, we will never attain the goal. Papa clearly says a stage should come when it is felt that he is making us chant. Because the purpose of chanting is to eliminate the me, and retaining him if we chant, we may not get the result. He was blunt in telling, even if he chants for 1 lakh times, he will be the same, something like that he said. So the purpose of chanting now, he makes it very clear. It will be gradual. At a stage, nobody will be able to. Initially, I get initiated from a Mahatma, I start chanting. I start pursuing. I start questioning. And I get the answer. And when the answer gets, the answer is this. That he is there in the form of sound. Where from the sound comes? Shabda Brahman. Oh. So that is making the individual feel that I am chanting. So the doership, and many of you might know, even in Papa's case, he had attained this even prior to chanting. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. He was chanting Ram, 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 Ram. We are putting it 2 and 2 together, that when he met Gandhiji at a distance, in one of his talks during his foreign tour, he cleared this, that he happened to attend one of the participants of a meeting held in Mangalore. And he said, an inexplicable, his own words, we did not know that at all. But he guided us to this particular, and then only we came to know all these things. In the course of Ramdas's life, prior to his meeting the Guru, he had been awakened off and on by contacts with some dynamic personalities. Though he had not felt that any power from outside had done it. There also he was very clear. The awakening had taken place within him. Ramdas once saw Gandhiji in Mangalore from a distance. A strange influence from him changed Ramdas's outlook, and his mind started going towards God. The first touch was from Gandhiji. And then we all know that Gandhiji was a great advocate of, votary of Ram Nam. And his Ram Nam was Ram, 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 Ram. So then Papa started chanting Ram Nam. And when he started getting the results, no talk with anybody, Intuitively he was getting the answers. The stressful period through which he was passing, he was finding it bearable, and he was slowly tasting the bliss out of it. And then this Nama chanting took possession of him. With the result, he reduced all his comfort zones, food, clothes, bed, everything. So his wife and child became panicky. Something is wrong with him. He was sleeping in another room. Instead of 3 meals, two instead one also boiled potatoes, one upper cloth, one loin cloth, and then mat. So they thought something is wrong with this. So our brothers were there. So brothers were informed. They also did not know. Somebody tried. Sister, he was attached to sister. Sister also tried to bring some sweets or something. He refused. He was very stubborn. So they sent over to his father, who was then in Udupi, thinking that something is basically wrong with him. Again, his own words. Karma.
No, there's a comma after sun.
I mean,
So give sun, comma, might come.
when he was passing through this state, Ramdas's father, by his old birth, who later became his guru, heard about his condition and got alarmed. Many disturbing reports reached him that Ramdas was behaving strangely and was neglecting worldly duties. They considered that it was all due to some derangement of his brain which could be cured by medicine. Such was the impression people had of him, and that was conveyed to his father, who was then in Udupi. As soon as he heard this news about his son, he ran down to see him. He looked at Ramdas and understood him. Ramdas was seen repeating Ramnam always. He had lost all interest in the world. The father asked him, "Son, what are you doing?" Ramdas replied, "God is making me repeat Ram Ram." See? Even before getting the initiation, it is not an initiation, Papa named it as initiation. Because he said, he looked upon happier and addressed, son, instead of you repeating only Ram, I will give you a mantra which I received from a sannyasi, just take it. He called Ramdas inside the house, initiated him with the mantra, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, and said, son, if you repeat this mantra constantly, you will attain eternal happiness. So even before that, he was chanting Ram Nam. And then, that chanting of Ram Nam had helped him to realize that God is making him to repeat the name. This is a very important word, very important expression. So we might be doing Ram Nam, but still we feel we are doing it. So these words make us realize that the fullest benefit of Ram Nam chant be had only, fullest benefit means what? To realize that He is within us, He is behind every thought, word and deed. Therefore He is also making us to repeat His name. If this is clear, the chanting will not become mechanical. So though the mainstay of Anandashram is Ram Nam, this aspect is a vital aspect. This has to be highlighted. So it goes along with Mahatma Ji's words of effort. This is the effort we can say. The effort is to hand over the doership, ownership. I am chanting Ram Nam. No, He is making me to chant Ram Nam. He is in the form of sound. He is the subtle and mysterious power. Now He chose to chant through me. This is something for all of us to ponder deeply, and how to harmoniously blend it with our chanting. All of us have to do that. This is a very important point, very important point. That's why probably Papa yesterday made us to bring it out. While chanting.
A great mistake you have been doing so far.
In my humble opinion, effort is necessary for one's growth. It has to be irrespective of results. Ramnam or some equivalent is necessary, not for the sake of repetition, but for the sake of purification as an aid to effort. Purification as an aid to effort. Purification means what? Purification is handing over the doership. We pause for a moment, how does the sound come? Before the I steps in and takes over the ownership, it comes, and by His blessings it is rooted through me, the sense of individuality. So as an aid to effort for direct guidance, it is therefore never a substitute for effort. It is meant for intensifying and guiding it in the proper channel. Okay, this much. Actually, somebody wanted a little more clarification on this, that's why we went there. Now we go back to In Quest of God again. We completed that board. We thought it would be again beneficial for us. The elaborate work he made us to do during 2022, at the time of centenary, Sadhya's centenary, he made us to go deep into the theme of In Quest of God, chapter by chapter. And then so many points connected with our day-to-day life, not Papa's life. Why should I read IQ In Quest of God? That was written in 1925. That is the experience of Papa. In what way it is going to benefit me? Just by reading? No, it has not helped me. Just by casually thinking? No. Only by delving deep into it, probably I may be able to move a little further, little more. So this was the background for our intense, in-depth study of In Quest of God. In Quest of God is a graphic narrative of the unique experience of beloved Papa had during the first year of his itinerant life. This inspiring autobiographical account highlights his total reliance on God, his positive acceptance of all situations, the absence of otherness in the universal vision. These three, total reliance on God, positive acceptance of all situations, and absence of otherness. An in-depth study of every chapter of this enthralling book makes us aware of the plethora of values lying latent within its page. Spontaneity of life, born of an egoless purity and innocence. A consciousness of the indwelling and all-pervading reality, and a constant effort to see Him in all with an unconditional, cheerful acceptance of all situations as ordained by the Lord, are the supreme notes and refrain of the voice that rings through the whole text. Spontaneity of life, born of an egoless purity and innocence, a consciousness of the indwelling and all-pervading reality, and a constant effort to see Him in all with an unconditional, cheerful acceptance of all situations as ordained by the Lord, are the supreme notes and refrain of the voice that rings through the whole text. The text also calls our attention to the idea that bhakti and jnana are to be simultaneously developed. Although most of the incidents in the book lay stress on the impersonal aspect of the divine, adoration of the saguna aspect is also given its due importance. Jnana is the realization of the Atman, Nirguna Brahman. After attaining jnana, the bhakta looks upon the whole universe as God Himself, Saguna. Jnana is the realization of Atman, Nirguna Brahman. After attaining jnana, bhaktas looks upon the whole universe as God Himself in the Saguna form. Another significant facet of In Quest of God is that beloved Papa makes a mention of the word Ram more than 450 times throughout the text. This illustrates the unique and intimate relationship that beloved Papa had with Ram. This relationship ultimately paved the way for him to achieve a state of perpetual serenity and peace born out of his union with Ram. The underlying message conveyed through In Quest of God is that if we want to lead a peaceful life under all circumstances, constant remembrance of Him is a must. It is the master key to unlock the complexities of life. Remembrance, This becomes clear when we go through the first few lines of the first chapter and the last few lines of the last chapter. The first chapter portrays the picture of a person who was deeply stressed. For quote, for nearly a year, Ramdas struggled on in a world full of chaos, anxieties, and pains. It was a period of terrible stress and restlessness, all of his own making. In this utterly helpless condition, full of misery, where is relief? Where is rest? This was the heart's cry of Ramdas. First book, In Quest of God, first chapter, first para, these are the words. Full of misery, stressful period. Then, the last few lines of the 37th chapter, last chapter, revealed the transformation that had taken place within him in the course of almost a year. His life was totally surrendered to the divine, ever at peace, ever in bliss. And quote, Ramdas stays by Ram's command in a cave called Panchapandava cave on the Kadri hill and lives there a serene life, devoting his whole time in talking about, writing of, meditating on that all-loving, glorious Ram. So from stress to serenity. He makes us to bring out these words. Started with stress, ending with serenity. So as a sadhaka, when I am made to pass through stressful moments, here is an assurance that if we stick on to that with all 100% earnestness, we will also reach the state of serenity. For the sake of newcomers, we will again repeat, this book was released in 1925. Now we are in 2025. So we can say the centenary of In Quest of God book. That is why we are again prompted to take it up again. In Quest of God can become a life manual if we adjust or realign our attitudes, actions and thought patterns with the approach shared by beloved Papa. At a superficial glance, this may appear to be intellectual gymnastics. However, as we dwell more and more on these thoughts, whenever we are faced with challenging circumstances, the first thought that may come to mind is, how would beloved Papa respond? This will make us recall various ways in which beloved Papa had successfully brought in the God dimension, and then we will be able to calmly deal with the situation knowing that it has come about either as a test or to teach us something. It will also enable us to become habituated to having a positive approach in all situations. Intensely reading the text over and over again in the past 1 year, followed by manana, reflection and meditation, helped in identifying quite a number of profound points lying deep within the textual presentation that could aid us in leading a peaceful life and forging ahead in our spiritual journey. These points were shared through videos on YouTube on a weekly basis from January to September 2022. Every week we used to have. And many more were also identified later. Still, it is keenly felt, in spite of our repeated efforts, we have barely scratched the surface. This means the in-depth study is an ongoing process having no full stop. A few points from the first article in IQG and each of the subsequent chapters are shared here. Few pointers. Devotees may kindly note that this study is pursued further. They may also come across many. Devotees may note that as this study is pursued further, they may also come across many more points. So, before starting the first chapter, Papa introduces Ram. First page. O Ram, the truth, the love, the goal of human perfection. All hail, all hail. Before introducing the word Ram, he gives a beautiful explanation. The first and foremost clarity an aspirant needs while in quest of God is to have the right concept of God addressed by beloved Papa as Ram. This can be gained from this article. We are going through each and every one. The pointers only we are mentioning. Truth, that which always remains. Love, absence of otherness. Goal of human perfection, state of completeness, full flawlessness, or supreme excellence. Subtle and mysterious power, the creative force, the sustaining power, that which motivates towards constant change, overall intelligence, goodness, kindness, beauty, the ever-present, all-pervading essence of spirit, which binds everything in the universe together, gives life to everything. What is subtle and mysterious power, no? The creative force, the sustaining power, that which motivates towards constant change, overall intelligence, goodness, kindness, beauty, the ever-present, all-pervading essence or spirit, which binds everything in the universe together and gives life to everything. Self-effacement. These are all the words that is appearing on the first article. Beloved Papa emphatically states that the above can be well understood by humbling ourselves to such a degree as to totally subdue our egoism, our self-assertion as a separate individual existence. Humbling ourselves to such a degree as to totally subdue our egoism, our self-assertion as a separate individual existence. Selfless service. Having reached this stage through an awakened consciousness of Ram, we will be naturally prompted to sacrifice all the interests that concern the body for the welfare of our fellow men and fellow creatures who are all manifestations of the same Ram. So the first article brings out these points about which we have now been able to touch. Again, we have to keep on pondering to get it. We pray to him, Then chapter number 1, struggle and initiation. Utter helplessness leads to intense prayer from the bottom of the heart. Prayers are answered intuitively from the core of our being, the great void. Great void, a synonym of Ram, stands for the all-enveloping reality which remains ever untouched, unaffected by the different characteristics that separate one from the rest. Papa, before introducing Ram, he introduces the word great void. G and V capital. And then he says that was the voice of Ram. So one more food for thought. Great void. We cannot just leave it like that. What is great void? Great void, a synonym of Ram, stands for the all-enveloping reality which remains ever untouched and unaffected by the different characteristics that separate one form from the other. Everything is included. Puja Mataji always brings it the space, for enabling us to understand. We can have sweet in this, then wash it. You can have spicy, you can have bitter, you can have sour, you can have pure water. The space will not be affected at all. Though the space provides for everything to exist, but it does not get affected at all. Great void, a synonym of Ram, for Almighty Lord of the universe is compared to great void. In prayers and in Upanishads, they normally quote the word, Gaganam, beginningless and endless. At the same time, nothing is there. Nothing means nothing of what we know. Nothing of what we know. That is called the void, great void. Emptiness is fullness, but emptying of what? Emptying of all the knowables. So Papa introduces this great word in the first book, in the first chapter. Then, fourth point, go to the source of everything. Intense faith leads to trust. Because go to the source, he heard it from within only,
Mala, raining.
Good. Source. Where from the sense of individuality is sprouted, Fundamental question. The great void, when we keep on thinking, again we made a little research on this word, how did Papa get this? Then we came to know through many other sources, but in Yoga Vasishta it has been clearly mentioned. Because that is the source from which everything has sprouted. And it remains untouched, unaffected, unruffled with anything that is happening inside. A beautiful word, great word. So it turns over to the source. Then intense faith leads to trust. The word intuitively he heard, trust me, not merely faith. Trust me, thou shalt be free. The cry was heard. From the great void came the voice, despair not, trust me, thou shalt be free. And this was the voice of Ram. So intense faith leads to trust. Trust means, happening over completely, lock, stock and barrel. Not merely at the faith level. Preparatory steps, fixed resolve, sustained faith, optimistic outlook, self-denial, satsang, through Swadhyaya. These are all the things which he employed. Fixed resolve. Everybody said, no, what you are doing is wrong. He had his own resolve. Sustained faith in the glory of the name. And you are sure he is being led properly, optimistic outlook. And for that he had to deny so many things for himself. And he was reading Swadhyaya, satsang through Swadhyaya. In his book he has mentioned Bhagavad Gita, Light of Asia, New Testament and Gandhiji's books. And one more word he added, not reading like what we read. There is a word, especially he had added. Very, very, very. The young plant of bhakti in Ram, he says, Off and on, he was prompted by Ram to read the teachings of Sri Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, Buddha, the Light of Asia, Jesus Christ, New Testament, Mahatma Gandhi, Young India and Ethical Religion. The young plant of bhakti in Ram was thus nurtured in the electric atmosphere created by the influence of these great men on the mind of humble Ramdas. So it was not reading. The young plant of bhakti in Ram was thus nurtured in the electric atmosphere created by the influence of these great men on the mind of humble Ramdas. Think. So satsang through Swadhyaya. Code of conduct. Simple living habits to gain more mind space for God remembrance. Comfort zones definitely deny us to have more and more space for God remembrance. Suppose suddenly the light goes, the fan stops, everybody will be back to body level, no? Natural. Because we are used to this. In his case, he denied many things so that the mind space is exclusively given for God remembrance. Ramdas was now losing attraction for the objects of the world. Sleep, except for 1 or 2 hours in the night, was given up for the sake of Ram. Fineries in clothes and dress were replaced by coarse kadar. Bed was substituted by a bare mat. Food first 2 meals were reduced to 1 meal a day, and after some time this too was given up for plantains and boiled potatoes. Chilies and salt were totally eschewed. No taste but for Ram. Meditation of Ram continued apace. It encroached upon the hours of the day and the so-called worldly duties. So, code of conduct. Simple living habits to gain more mind space for God remembrance. Introspection, to know whether the me and mine sense of possession is reducing. At the end of the chapter he says, while desires for the enjoyment of worldly things were fast falling off, the consideration of me and mine was also wearing out. The sense of possession and relationship was vanishing. All thought, all mind, all heart, all soul was concentrated on Ram. Ram covering up, absorbing everything. The consideration of me and mine, the sense of possession and relationship was vanishing. So introspection to know. We have to keep on watching ourselves whether the me and mine is still dormant in us. Introspection to know whether the me and mine sense of possession is reducing. And he says, during the day when cares and anxieties were besetting him due to monetary and other troubles, Ram was coming to his aid in unexpected ways. So whenever free from worldly duties, be the period ever so small. No? Be the period ever so small. So we don't have to separately set apart some period for that. So remember him, be the period ever so small. So like 9 pointers, there could be many, but this is how he prompted us to bring it out. And when we are now going through again, it touches and kindles so many things. Are we? So tomorrow onwards we will try to go through it again and again, chapter wise. On some chapters it will be more, and some chapters it will be less. But being the centenary of In Quest of God book, we will be able to go through it again and at least peep into the various important points. Some of it may get aligned to us, Though we don't say everything will get aligned, and that will help us in our sadhana. To the extent possible, we will try to imbibe. And probably that is why he wanted us to take it up during this 3:30, 4:30 session. Somewhere in the mind it will be there. And if by his grace we take it seriously, it will have its own impact while reacting to events and individuals. So we pray, nothing but prayer. That is the basis. As an individual, we are unable to do. If it was possible, we would have done already, So it is very clear, by as an individual, we are unable to do it. So we are intensely praying to him to step out and then hold our hand and guide us unto himself. Okay then. Kindly think over. Those who have got the text may kindly go through it again and again. Those who have got that small book, Stress to Serenity, which was distributed at the time of the centenary, those who came here, they were given this book also. Kindly go through it again. That will help us a lot. Probably we may be able to understand some more dimensions in it. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram. Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram.